I thought it was a little overwhelming, but I think it's a lot overwhelming. I just had some surgery yesterday, and nothing was going to stop me from that, because you miss a surgery date, you're never going to get one for a long time. But I wasn't going to miss this either. I advised my wife and daughter to drag me up if they had to. Initially, I'd like to thank the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame and their nominating committee for bestowing me with this great honor. I'm so honored to be being inducted with such an esteemed group of individuals and teams. But go Bisons. Bison at heart. I'd like to thank Sam Steinfeld and Laurie Urban for my lifelong friends with whom I founded the Sport Physio Center and nominated me for this award. I want to get the important stuff out of the way so I don't forget or get cut off by Oscar music or something like that, the mic turning off. The question, big thanks to my wife Pat for her patience, for her understanding, for all those hours away from home, and for unyielding support for the many directions my life was going at any point in time. Finally, my daughter Julie and son-in-law Mike and grandkids Milo and Griffin, although half of that crew is home sick with the flu. And finally, I probably didn't say enough of it while I was growing up, but I also owe a huge thanks to my late parents for passing along their North End work ethic, their never-ending respect for others, and their rules on proper manners. I'm so fortunate to have so many friends and family, former teammates and work colleagues here tonight to support me. I don't know who prepared the rest of this up, but they stole my speech. Anyway, so as a youngster, as was said, I attempted to play almost every sport, but didn't possess the physical stature to succeed. I felt it was the junior high and high school teachers at Sisler High School, that started my lifelong path. They saw beyond me being the short little fat kid who kept trying out for all the teams and encouraged me to stay active in sport and be part of the team as a manager and trainer. There were many, but Frank Bryan, Gary Grubert, Larry Markwitson, and George Kennedy stand out in my mind as those individuals who planted and nurtured that seed. They guided me to take student trainer courses led by individuals who had become my lifelong role models. Chuck Badcock and Gordy Mackey, who themselves have been inducted into this hallowed hall, are those people. Equally, and I'm going to forget somebody, people like Darcy Bain, Daryl Steen, Doug Calder, Glenn Bergeron, Phil Rizzuto, Ben Trunzo, and Dr. Wayne Hildahl, who also played a huge role in my career. It was mentioned that Morris Glimcher, he hired me back in the 70s to write a manual as a summer job. This led me to want to share my knowledge and experience through teaching and mentoring others. I must say that many of the athletes I've encountered, and the story about Stevie Nicks is true, but I couldn't get I couldn't get off work from my boss to go make the Western tour with them. They said I would have been very busy because they're all 70 plus years old. They could have kept me busy all the time. I must say that many of the athletes I've encountered and the teams that I've had the good fortune to be part of have also played a huge role in my sport involvement and career. Special fond memories of these experiences go back to my Sisler Spartan football and basketball days. St. John's and Churchill, and when we won many championships. Besides the winning, many of these teammates were great people and would become lifelong friends. After high school, I spent many hours, actually years, on the football field with the Winnipeg Hawkeyes Junior Football Club. And again, we had some good years, but many bad years. But many of them were great people and again remain good friends. So special in my heart are the 1976 U of M Bison basketball team. A number of them are here tonight. This team won the CIAU National Championships that year and have been inducted into the Hall of Fame as a team, as was said. And they were a unique team in that at that time, these were all Manitoba players. If you were to succeed in sport in Canada like basketball, you had to, usually it was graded on how many Americans you had on your team, and we were all Manitobans from top to bottom. For almost 50 years, these guys still communicate regularly, wishing each other happy birthdays, supporting each other with anyone who's faced any hardships, and get together regularly. I'd like to thank these guys for their friendship and support. Sorry to bore you with these specifics, but the point of my rambling is that all of these teams were very successful, but more importantly, these teams had great people on them, and I was so fortunate to have been a part of them. I think this story keeps repeating itself through every story that everybody has. In the lead up to tonight, the Hall of Fame did a survey and asked me why I dedicated my career and volunteer time to sports. It comes down to, again, my love of sport, deep down desire to help people. It's never been about the winning or the recognition of accomplishments. I've always viewed success as helping others succeed in whatever goals they had set. My life experience and mentors have also instilled the philosophy to pay it forward. Thus, it's been so rewarding for me to be able to pass along my own life experiences and knowledge to others I've encountered through teaching at the university. And I know I've had a number of people here that have been in my class, and I was known to have my pointer and slide forwarder with everything I did, but there's no slides here. But I have my pointer. If somebody's falling asleep, I can wake them up with the red light. The Hall of Fame survey also asked, what do you consider your biggest accomplishment in sport? As I said previously, it comes down to being able to help others, but there have been many personal accomplishments that were highlighted with my involvement with Canadian medical teams and locally having had the opportunity to help organize medical coverage for many events. Additionally, being able to work in professional sports with the Goldeyes, Jets, Bombers, as was said, were high points. I have many great stories, many of which I can't repeat today. Students and younger therapists I've encountered have said that they want to work with professional sport. And how can they get there today, now? And I tell the students that they must put in the same time volunteering in amateur sport, gaining valuable knowledge and experience. Sponge as much knowledge as they can from those they encounter. They, as young therapists, have to put in the same time and effort that the young athletes do to move up from the minors to the big leagues. So you got to put in the time to succeed. I've already mentioned my two former work partners, Sam and Lori, and we were very fortunate to have many colleagues at Pan Am Clinic that had such a huge influence on my life path. And again, a whole bunch of them surprised me tonight, so thank you very much. When work things kind of evolved and changed over the last decade, I was so fortunate to meet JF and Blake, who invited me to come work with them at Pure Lifestyle. I want to thank them so much for their support and for making the latest part of my work life so wonderful and rewarding. The whole staff, some of who, again, who are here today, have been so great to work with, and the young people have revived my passion to continue to help people. And finally, the survey asked if I had any hidden gems or specific stories that I wanted to share. The ball boy story started, and I was buoyed with all this knowledge and experience I had in grade 8, or by grade 8. I was buoyed enough to take a big step on my own. And so my grandparents lived in Gimli, and the Blue Bombers happened to be holding a training camp across the back lane. I thought with my now wealth of experience, that gave me what I thought was qualifications to work with the Bombers. So in the middle of practice, I walked out to the middle of the Bomber practice field, right up to a huge man who I thought looked like he was in charge. It was Jim Spavital, the head coach. I then introduced myself and my qualifications. You can imagine how terrified I was when this giant man suddenly put his arm around me. I figured he was throwing me off the field. And I explained why I was there, and he said in a deep southern drawl, "Come with me, son." Can't replicate the southern drawl. So then he personally, in the middle of practice, walked me into the office of the general manager, Earl Lunsford, and says, "Earl, you got to hire this boy." So that day, I became a ball boy for the Blue Bombers. Got a funny nickname, Snack Bar, which somebody wants to know later, I'll tell you. It started me on the path to sports medicine because I got to hang around the training room, which was adjacent to the equipment room. I saw the trainers, Chuck Badcock or Gordy Mackey, helping the players with their injuries and ailments. This further cemented my goal to help others, especially in the wonderful and fun world of sport. The bottom line is life is about having fun at what you're doing, and boy, I've had a blast. Thank you.